On reports from the National Weather Service, spotters, Skywarn Spotter, an amazing network of folks that are really the eyes and the ears of the National Weather Service, and for us, for that matter, guiding us and helping us with damage reports and severe weather outbreaks. This particular storm is a very powerful one, similar to a supercell that you would see in the Midwest, holding together for miles and miles and miles. In this case, probably closing in on an hour at this point when it began to develop out in the Connecticut River Valley. This cell actually started back near Albany, New York, and we were tracking it as it kind of ran right along the border of Massachusetts and Vermont. It actually went over Bennington, Vermont, just south of Brattleboro, and now the New Hampshire-Massachusetts line, and then kind of cut south right there. You can see it moving to the southeast as it went through the Route 2 corridor between Athol and Fitchburg. The warning went up for a tornado back here when it was near Winchendon, and that storm then progressed over Gardner, Fitchburg, Leominster, and is moving at a southeasterly rate at about 20-25 miles per hour, and is producing a lot of lightning strikes, a lot of very, very heavy rainfall, potentially some large hail the size of golf balls, which is damaging in itself, and of course wind damage, both of the straight line nature and potentially of the turbulent nature from rotation. Again, Doppler radar is indicating the possibility of a tornado on the ground right now, or one forming imminently. This warning is in place until 8:30 this evening, so for another 30 minutes we will be under the gun. Particular towns of interest: Sterling, Lancaster, and Clinton. That's the immediate interest. If you know folks in this area, please give them a call on the cell phone especially. There may be some power lines and phone lines down just because of the turbulent and the destructive nature of this storm. So I'd recommend a cell phone call, although cell towers could be breaking up some of the transmissions there too. But if you know folks in this area, most of us do, please give them a call, give them a heads up. Looks like Clinton and Lancaster are up next here. The storm is moving to the southeast at 20 miles per hour. And if it holds together beyond Clinton, we're talking about Berlin, we're talking about the I-290 and 495 loop, Bolton, and perhaps getting into Metro West. That's something that we're concerned about. The one thing that we do have on our side right now is that we are pretty much approaching sunset. These storms tend to fuel. Their fuel is heat and humidity. And once we get that sun down, there won't be as much heat to work with, although there's still a lot of residual warmth from the day. This area that we're looking at right now, didn't get the heavy rains that southeastern Mass saw earlier on this afternoon. They didn't get the heavy rains that they saw earlier this afternoon. And again, the National Weather Service issuing a statement at this time as of 8:01. Just a reminder, a refresher, tornado warning in effect until 8:30 for east central Worcester County. National Weather Service Doppler radar continues to indicate the potential for a tornado. This tornado would be located near Lancaster or Leominster, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. In addition to the tornado, this storm is capable of producing a quarter-size hail and destructive straight-line winds. Jack?
Todd, yeah. By the way, people, a lot of them are just tuning in right now. I know at the 8 o'clock programs. We are going to stay in this mode. We're going to be covering this very dangerous storm because it has not fallen apart yet. It is now has the potential of affecting hundreds of thousands of people stretching in that line along the Route 2 corridor. So we want to let you know we're monitoring this. We have crews rushing to the area so that we can also begin to ascertain what sort of damage, if any, that has been done. We did talk, if you missed it a few moments ago, with a sergeant at the Shirley Police Department. At that point, around 8 or 9 minutes ago, that's just east of Leominster, they were getting extremely heavy rains. Earlier, we'd reported from one of our observers there, you could see, he said, one of the most vivid lightning displays he had ever seen. So there have been hundreds of lightning strikes coming along with this, as well as extremely heavy rain. They have seen some twisting in the atmosphere. No confirmation, according to Joe Del Carpini of the National Weather Service, of a tornado actually touching down. But when you have these extremely heavy rains, they often don't know if it's touched down or not. People literally can't see it. And fortunately, many times they'll touch down in a forested area and some open farmland, and we hope and pray that everyone is out of harm's way. But we're watching this, again, with all of this population area as we come down that whole Route 2 Mohawk Trail, and a lot of people watching very carefully as the sun is setting. And hopefully, as the National Weather Service said, the air over much of 495N is not quite as soupy as that conditions they had going down through Leominster and Fitchburg with very high humidity, with around 70% or some such thing, or higher in humidity. I'm not on the weather nut. I'll get Todd back for all of that. But we wanted to let you know we're monitoring that. We're also watching a very heavy thunderstorm hitting around the Manchester, New Hampshire area. In that area, we have an awful lot of our viewers up there, and there's been seeing some very vivid lightning strikes as we watch. You can see it in the upper part. It has been something coming down through that part of New Hampshire. Now, there has been no tornado warnings there, but we want to let you know we're monitoring this as well. All right, we have somebody else on the phone. Who's there for him?
Hi, this is Carl from Sky One.
Okay. What was the first name again?
Carl, C-A-R-L.
Oh, thank you, Carl. Jack Williams here. Where are you right now?
I'm at the National Weather Service office in Taunton.
Oh, good. So you have been in touch with some of the people in harm's way.
Yes, we've been monitoring the situation right through the whole afternoon.
What kind of damage reports have you had in so far?
Right now, Ashburnham seems to be the target area. They've had multiple trees and wires down, several buildings struck by lightning, and because of the amount of damage, there are road closures all over the place. The dispatches for the police and fire department have been so overwhelmed that they're calling in all off-duty personnel.
Yeah, we're just getting some pictures in, Carl, on our screen of some of this, the clouds that was over Gardner. Boy, that looks very, very ominous. But you've had no reports at all of any actual tornado touching down?
No, not at all. The tornado warning was issued when it was over the Gardner area and started moving southeasterly. We did not get any reports of any touchdowns, though we did get some reports from spotters out there of rotation in the cloud formations, but no actual frontal clouds and no tornadoes.
Yeah, you'd mentioned, especially in Ashburnham and a number of other nearby towns, that they've been overwhelmed with calls coming in for police and fire. Do you know what those calls are basically about? Is it damage or fear or what?
It's wind damage mostly. There's a lot of trees and wires down all over the area around Central Street, Pleasant Street, Westminster Street. There's a whole area within South Ashburnham that seems to be the target area.
Yeah, on this, this is a terrific network. I know that you've relied, and we've always had an ear to listen to you too, and getting these spotters. How many spotters do you have up in that area?
I'm not sure. In that area, we have a total of 6,000 trained spotters across the whole county warning area that we cover.
Oh, boy. And now, anything else coming in since we started talking to you?
No, not at the moment. I'm a little bit away from the central location where we're gathering the reports, so that it wouldn't be interfering with what they're doing.
Well, Carl, if you don't mind, we'd love to have you back on. If you go and take a look at that, if you can get some new information for us, because people are, of course, very anxious to see what's happening over there, and I imagine there are a lot of nervous people in the path of this supercell.
Absolutely, Jack. As soon as I get more information, I'll be glad to call you back.
Thank you, Carl Leveni. So thank you so much. These storm spotters have been unbelievable volunteers, and he mentioned the thousands that are trained. So we'll let Carl get back, and we'll try to find some information as this is still holding together. Todd in our weather office, Todd Guttner, who is a trained meteorologist, has been doing the weather in New England now for a lot of years. How many of these have you seen like this?
I've seen a handful, Jack. I mean, I worked up in Maine for in